All right, guys. So we're going to talk about how to take signals, and we're going to give you some of the basics because we understand that some of you guys are at different places than others. But I'm going to break this down as simple as possible. When we are in the signals room, there's going to be one room that's saying, hey, this is the entry we're looking at. This is our entry, this is our take profit, and our stop loss. It'll look something like this. So for example, here we see Euro GBP for a buy. We're going to put that. And that simply means a buy limit because we put an entry one and an entry two. So an entry one simply means, hey, this is what we're entering. You're going to put it in your MetaTrader 4. Now, the reason why we put entry 2 sometime is because some of you guys may miss the first entry. So someone who will get the signal right away versus someone who gets it maybe an hour, 2 hours, or 30 minutes later. So it's up to you to understand where price is at versus the entries that we put in, because sometimes you may have missed the trade. So sometimes we put entry 1 and entry 2. And then you'll see TPs. Now, TPs mean take profit. Now, you don't have to take all of the profits, okay? TP1, for example, you see at 0.8563. That's usually for scalpers. Scalpers means that you're in the market usually for a few minutes. It may take a few minutes, maybe a half hour or so before your take profit one hit. If you're a scalper, you want to look at TP1, execute it, and then you probably want to get out the market. TP2 is usually for intraday traders. It sometimes may take an hour, 2, 3 hours, depending on how fast the market is going. Now, it's up to you if you want to take TP2 or TP3 or TP4. Again, some of you guys may have more patience than others. Some of you guys are working a 9 to 5, so you may take TP2 or 3 because you can't keep your eye on your chart or whatever. Or you may just want to hold it because you trust us in our take profits. Now, it doesn't mean that TP3 or 4 or 2 is going to even hit, or even 1 for that matter. However, if you hit TP1, that is a successful trade. Now, if once it hit TP1, it may continue to 2, 3, and 4, but it all depends. If you want to wait for it, sometimes the market will reverse. So when we say once it's blue, it's on you, that simply means that once it hits the first TP, it's up to you if you want to continue. So let's look at a chart, and I'm going to break it down for you how this works. So Euro GBP, that's the market that we just looked at. You've seen that signal dropped. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about buy limit. A buy limit is like a check mark. You're waiting for price to come down to your order, whatever price that is. Your order is right here, and then it will automatically get you inside of the order once you put it inside of your MetaTrader 4. Once it does that, you're hoping price goes up because you're in a buy. And once it goes up, you're hoping that it hits your take profit target. That's it. So you're putting your buy limit in. You want price to come down to your order, automatically enter you into the market, and then hit your TP or your take profit. So let's take a look at it. This is the entries that we had for our signal we just discussed. So we had first entry at 0.8553. And then we even had a second entry at 0.8507. Now, let's say you happen to look at the signal on time when we dropped it inside of Discord, and you're like, price is right above the first entry. I'm going to go ahead and put in that first entry. Now, it's up to you if you want to put in entry 1 and 2. You definitely can do it. However, we put an entry 2 sometimes if you're a little bit cautious. If you're like, I think it'll go even further down, so I'm going to wait and only enter at entry 2. It's up to you. You can do both, or you can do one or the other. It's up to you. So that being said, you want price to come down to your entry 1 and then head up to your take profit. That's all you're doing. Once you put inside of your MetaTrader 4, let's say if you were putting in entry 2, you want price to go down to your entry 2 and then head up to your take profit, right? So here's our TP1 right here. Then we can say this is our TP2, all based on the numbers that we looked at, TP3, and then here's TP4. And this is where you're wanting price to go to. Now, remember, TP1 is for scalpers if you want to be in the market for maybe a few minutes, maybe an hour or so, depending on the volatility of the market. TP2 is if you're going to wait a little bit longer. TP3 is even longer. And then TP4 is usually swing trading if you're holding it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, depending on the volatility of the market. All right. So we don't want to forget about the stop loss. The stop loss was at 0.8500. You're going to put that in your MetaTrader 4 as well. So let's look at this MetaTrader 4 example here. All right. So what we're doing is looking for Euro GBP at the bottom. We're going to click it, hit new order, and then we're going to select buy limit because we're in a buy limit. Price hasn't gotten to it yet. And then we're going to put in the price that we're entering. So we're looking at entry 1. So let's go ahead and enter that in. And remember, entry 1 is 0.8553. And once we do that, now let's do our take profit. Let's say we want to do take profit 2. And take profit 2, remember, was at 0.8573. And then don't forget your stop loss. Your stop loss is up to you, just as long as you're risking no more than 2%. But for this case, let's just do 0.8500. Then we're going to hit place order. And that's it. We're going to wait for price to come down to us, to our entry 1, and then we're hoping price go up higher. Now let's play this out. So price comes down, enters us into entry 1, 0.8553. That is awesome. That's exactly what we wanted. But because price went a little bit further below entry 1, we're now negative $2. Now I'm just using $2 just for illustration purposes. But if you look in my MetaTrader 4 on the left side of the screen, it says Euro GBP. My lot size says 0.02. It means 20 cents a pip. So it's up to you. You want to only risk no more than 2% of your account size. Now, if you're new, I encourage you to go through the modules because it will make this a lot easier, especially the risk management. I can't stress that enough. All right. So we always say to risk no more than 2% of your account. And if you're new here and you haven't gone through the modules, I highly encourage you to do that. That's why we require people to go through the modules and have a subscription, a lifetime subscription with us so that they can learn while they're earning with these signals here. All right, so price is below our entry, so we're negative, and that's fine. We're hoping price goes up. It hasn't hit our stop loss yet. And now price moves above our entry, and now we're in profit. It says TP1, our TP1 is hit, right? Now, we didn't put that TP1 in our MetaTrader 4, so we're still in the market. We're waiting for price to hit TP2. Now we're up $10, and as price moves up to TP2, we are up $15, for example, right? We didn't stay to TP3 or TP4. And remember, it's up to you, depending on how long you want to stay in the trade, whether if it's a few hours or a couple days, it's up to you and your tolerance. So if someone is a swing trader and don't mind being in a trade for a few hours or a few days or a few weeks to play it out to TP3 and TP4, then hey, have at it. But my target personally for this illustration was TP2. And now I am out of the market with $15 on to take the next trade. So I hope that this helps you to understand how to take signals. You want to make sure that when you're looking at the signal that we drop, that it hasn't taken place. So remember when we first looked at this here, price hasn't reached our entry 1 yet. So as you look at the signal, you want to go to the chart to see if entry 1 has taken place. So understanding where price is at and where price is at when you looked at it takes knowledge, and we encourage you to go to the modules if you struggle with this here. So guys, hopefully this worked out for you guys, and let's collect these pips.